Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I am proud to rise today to discuss Motion 69, and I look forward to reading the amendments put forward through the Deputy House Leader. And I truly hope my husband is listening, because this is a personal but public service announcement. I myself, now I think about it, my own house, it's now brought, after doing this research, I'm thinking, what's with my house built in the 1960s? Is there not lead pipes within my own home? So we'll have to go home and check on that tonight. This motion aims to address the growing concerns of water quality delivered via lead pipes to private residences throughout Canada. But to begin, I'm going to start with the concerns of lead drinking water and why Canadians should be concerned with this. I will discuss solutions that have been recommended and in some municipalities addressed. According to the Canadian guidelines, the acceptable concentration of lead found in water is 0.010 or 10 milligrams per litre. But what are the consequences, and why should we as Canadians be concerned? We know that lead is a toxic metal that can be harmful to human health, especially children, infants, and fetuses. This group is very vulnerable, and as it can lead to physical and behavioral effects. It can damage the central and peripheral nervous system, lead to learning disabilities, lead to shorter stature, impaired hearing, and impaired formation and function of blood cells. The one thing I'm learning from reading this speech is the word lead and lead. A bit of an issue here, so you're going to hear a lot of switches here. For fetuses, consumption of lead by the mother accumulates and can be released to the fetus. It can cross the placental barrier, exposing the fetus to lead. This can cause reduced growth of the fetus and possibly premature birth. In adults, exposure to lead can cause increased blood pressure and hypertension, along with decreased kidney function and reproductive problems. In Flint, Michigan, just across the Canada-US border, close to my own home, following a change of water supply, a high concentration of lead was found, exposing thousands of children to these toxic substances. This was caused by using old pipes that were corroding due to the chemical changes in the source water. We as Canadians can learn from this crisis. Research has indicated that the brain can absorb lead that results in negative effects to the frontal cortex that in turn can have a negative impact on essential learning and memory, attention, and planning. The effects of lead can be permanent and can result in lifelong disabilities. In the US, lead is considered the #1 health threat to children. According to the World Health Organization, children absorb between 4 to 5 times as much lead as adults when ingested. There is no safe level of lead in blood concentration. So what is the issue? Here in Canada, post-war, many homes were built, and both municipalities and homeowners used lead pipes. Just in the past 36 years, lead pipes stopped being used altogether. And although the federal government has no direct involvement, at the same time, we must ensure that the water for Canadians is safe to drink. Together with the provinces and territories, Health Canada established the guidelines for Canadian drinking water. But we must remind ourselves that it is up to the jurisdictions to set their own guidelines and enforcement. We understand that this is a cost to the municipalities and to the homeowners to replace these pipes that have corroded over time and allowed lead to leach. Measures taken in the past few decades have greatly reduced the exposure of lead in tap water through proper testing, and the amounts of lead in water can be determined. Sampling protocols have been recommended, and steps to reduce population exposure has also been provided. We understand that the cost of homeowners can be up to $10,000 for the replacement of these pipes from the municipal lines and to the homes as well within their own plumbing. And we must recognize that the cost that is taken on by the municipalities is only on their own public pipelines. It is not the actual pipeline that goes from that source into the home. And so that is something that the homeowners too will have to be aware of. Across Canada, many municipalities have already taken action. In Halifax, a lead pipe replacement program was put in place. In Edmonton, water tests are completed. And in Montreal, the city implemented a 20-year plan to address the lead toxins in their own drinking water. Health Canada guidance on controlling corrosion in drinking water distribution systems is a great resource for all Canadians, whether personally or in government, to refer to. The document addressed the common issue of corrosion as well as corrosion control. The document indicates that the intent is to provide responsible authorities with guidance on assessing corrosion and implementing corrosion control for distribution systems in residential settings. It notes proper protocols and steps for monitoring, and it also indicates that the role of the federal government and I quote, is one of science and research, including the development of guidelines for drinking water and providing scientific and technical expertise to the provincial and territorial governments, end quote. We know that lead can leach in potable water through pipes, solders, and fittings. There is guidance to prioritizing residential monitoring sites, as well as detailed explanation of conditions that can favor lead leaching in drinking water distribution, including the treatment plants, the distribution systems, plumbing systems, and even at your own taps. This information can be found in the document at healthycanadians.gc.ca and is part of the publications. But truly, what can we do? Across Canada, many municipalities have provided testing and have worked with homeowners to replace their pipes for the health risks. But when we know that there is a solution, we should be taking action, but not necessarily at the federal level. We must recognize the inconsistency that amongst municipalities of implementing the recommendations from the 2009 report, Guidance on Controlling Corrosion in Drinking Water Distribution Systems, and we must be sure not to duplicate our efforts. A familiar thing done by many different governments. We seem to constantly study and study and study, and it's the same things. We know this is an issue, and we should be doing something about it. Meanwhile, we can also explore the impact of communities who have lead pipes, but have increased pH levels, like in Vancouver. In Vancouver, British Columbia, it's a little bit different because what they have is the own alkalinity of their water, so that they find that the corrosion does not exist. So maybe having an opportunity to look at the pH levels and how we can tweak that to make sure that there is not the corrosion, that is another option for this government to take. As in the report tabled during the previous government, information already exists, and we must face the challenges, including methods of measuring lead, monitoring programs, and prioritizing residential monitoring sites. We must recognize the financial impact to homeowners and to the taxpayers of Canada while keeping the health of Canadians at top of mind. I have noted the potential health risks, especially to young children, infants and fetuses, and the unnecessary results from lead poisoning, including a variety of permanent disabilities. As a party, we favor the elimination of lead in drinking water. However, we must respect the jurisdiction of municipal governments. The health of Canadians must be our priority, but we must understand the unique situations from Canada from coast to coast to coast. As a government, they should be looking at opportunities to make sure that we continue to educate, to make sure that we have opportunities when it comes to testing and any other sources. As I indicated, the federal government is in charge of scientific and that sort of expertise. This is an opportunity for them to do that as well, and I hope that they will, and I thank everybody for listening to my speech today. Thank you.